Libra, something extraordinary is already moving toward you. A life-changing amount of money is on its way, not by accident, not by luck, but because divine justice has been triggered on your behalf. You did not stumble upon this message randomly. Whether you found it in the stillness of your night or during the rush of your day, know this: your soul magnetized this moment. You were guided here because the universe is ready to respond to what your energy has already asked for. This is not a video. It's a confirmation. And deep down, you feel that truth settling in your chest right now. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is a sacred space where transformation begins not by prediction, but by recognition of what your spirit already knows to be true. And for you, Libra, the truth is bold, the spiritual audit is complete. Every silent prayer, every act of kindness, every time you chose dignity over revenge, grace over ego, those were not small moments. They were divine transactions. And now, your spiritual account is ready for withdrawal. This is heaven's back payment for all you endured with honor. You've carried a quiet strength for far too long. You've given when you had little. You believed in light even when surrounded by shadows. And while others only saw delay, the higher realms were recording loyalty. Libra, you are the one who stayed soft in a hardened world. You are the one who held the line. Now, you're about to see what that level of inner alignment truly calls in. This is why today's reading matters. This is not about chance. It's about alignment. What's coming toward you has your name on it. It's vibrationally encoded with your essence. And no one, not the skeptics, not the doubters, not even the old version of you, can block it now. The transfer has already been initiated in the spiritual realm. What we're waiting for is simply the material world catching up. So let me ask you this, Libra, what did you feel in your body the moment you saw this title? Did your heart race? Did you feel a tingling in your hands? Was there a thought you couldn't shake? That's not just intuition, it's divine resonance. And if this resonates with you, I invite you to confirm your alignment with a comment. Write the words, "I'm ready to receive," in the comments section below. Not from a but as a seal. A signal. A sacred agreement between you and the universe that you're open, aware, and standing at the door of what you've waited lifetimes for. And let me take just a moment to say this from my heart: I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Every like, every comment, every time you share this message or subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, you become part of a growing energetic field of awakening souls. You're not just supporting a channel, you're helping spread divine truth to others who need it most. So yes, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trusting your intuition. And believe me, Libra, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of today's message, because what the universe is revealing right now is not just inspiring. It's breathtaking. Now tell me, my beautiful Libra, what did your soul do to bring you here today? Let's find out together. There's a quiet kind of power in the choices you made when no one was watching. Libra, your life hasn't just been unfolding, it's been under spiritual review. Not to find fault, but to illuminate your unwavering grace in moments when it would have been easier to give in, give up, or grow bitter. While others may have assumed you were stagnant, the truth is, you were being observed through the highest lens possible, the lens of divine alignment. Every time you extended generosity despite scarcity, every time you chose truth over convenience, and every time you stayed silent rather than retaliate, you were writing a sacred line into your soul's record. This wasn't just endurance. It was sacred accounting. You've been depositing into an energetic treasury that doesn't forget. In energy work, we understand that intention generates frequency, and frequency leaves residue. The universe doesn't operate based on appearance, it responds to what is energetically sustained. So when your heart gave even when it ached, when your hands gave even when they were empty, when your spirit stood even when your knees trembled, those weren't signs of weakness. They were vibrations of integrity so strong they became cosmic signals, echoing through timelines. Your life became a prayer in motion, and the response has already begun forming. In astrology, Libra is not just a sign of balance, it is the divine mathematician of karmic flow. Your chart has often placed you in positions where you are tested in how much you're willing to give, how long you're willing to wait, and how deeply you believe in the unseen systems of justice. What many people call delay in a Libra's life is actually divine calibration. The scales aren't broken. They are waiting for precise spiritual weight to tip in your favor, and now that it has, the shift will feel seismic, not because everything around you explodes, but because you will finally feel aligned with what's been silently accumulating for years. It's easy to forget, in our world of instant results and digital validation, that some of the most profound transformations happen in silence. You were never meant to be measured by how loud your victories were. You were meant to be felt through the resonance of how deeply you held your values, even when they cost you everything. And they did. You've walked through seasons where you were misunderstood, overlooked, and perhaps even ridiculed. But this wasn't punishment. It was purification. And perhaps, in your private life, there were moments when you felt completely alone, left out, left behind, or simply left. You questioned your worth, your timing, your purpose. But even in that, something inside you chose not to close. That choosing, however small or shaky, was your act of sacred rebellion against a world obsessed with shortcuts. That was your faith, alive and unshaken. Even without quoting from scripture, one can understand that the rhythm of life mirrors a deeper trust. We plant, we water, we wait, and eventually, we reap. This is your reaping season, Libra. Not because you worked harder than others, but because you worked honestly, quietly, and with faith that your unseen efforts mattered. And they do. They always did. So let this moment be the pause where you acknowledge that you were never waiting in vain. You weren't behind. You weren't forgotten. You were simply being refined so that when the abundance arrives, you don't question whether or not you deserve it. You'll know you earned it with every kind act, every moment of restraint, and every courageous choice to remain soft in a hardened world. That, Libra, is what it means to be spiritually rich long before the physical world catches up. Sometimes the universe waits until we're fully aligned, not externally, but internally, before it releases what we've long been promised. Libra, what's coming to you now is not random. It's not a sudden stroke of luck or a chance encounter with abundance. What's coming is a sacred repayment. A divine reimbursement for everything you gave freely, for every act of quiet courage, for every moment you chose to remain open when closing off would have been easier. You're not winning a lottery, you're receiving a transfer. A transfer from the spiritual realm into the material one. And that shift doesn't come because you finally worked hard enough. It comes because you've finally vibrated high enough for it to land. In the language of the law of attraction, your frequency has matured. You've spent years radiating intention through your pain, and unknowingly rewriting the story of your self-worth through your integrity. You didn't even need to affirm your value every day. The way you lived became your affirmation. That's what allows life to start reshaping itself around you. When your internal state stabilizes, reality must eventually conform. And that's what's happening now. The external is catching up with the soul-level transformation that has already taken place within you. The possibilities may appear miraculous, but they'll feel strangely familiar. That forgotten manuscript tucked away in a drawer, suddenly the right person stumbles upon it. That small investment you made and forgot about suddenly surging in value. A legal case that once felt like a lost cause unexpectedly ruled in your favor. Or perhaps someone from your family tree, distant but thoughtful, leaves you an inheritance that seems timed perfectly with your current needs. These aren't coincidences. They are divine orchestration through familiar vessels. The universe often chooses the paths that were always near us but invisible until the moment of ripeness. In the symbology of tarot, this moment is captured beautifully by cards like the star, healing after devastation, your soul finally catching its breath under the cosmic sky. The Hierophant, wisdom gained through structure, faith, and long-term spiritual practice. And the Ace of Pentacles, a seed of wealth, finally handed to you, not to dazzle, but to cultivate. You're not being given a finish line. You're being offered fertile soil. This is a new beginning, Libra, but it looks like abundance. And in truth, it is. But it's also responsibility. It's sacred material. It's not just money, it's momentum, infused with meaning. For those who once looked down on you, who labeled your patience as passivity, your spiritual strength as weakness, this rising season may feel like poetic justice. But you're not rising to prove them wrong. You're rising to prove the light right. Your elevation is not a rebuttal. It's a revelation. You are becoming evidence that living in alignment with truth does, in time, return a harvest. And your reward will not humiliate others, it will heal perceptions. Your glow will not be an act of vengeance. It will be a signal that faith, even in silence, was never in vain. In this modern world where people are often trained to rush, hustle, and fight for every dollar, your story is different. You were refined through stillness. Your wealth isn't the result of clawing your way to the top, it's the unfolding of a slow, divine bloom. And maybe someone needs that reminder right now, that quiet doesn't mean powerless. That waiting doesn't mean wasting time. That faith, when rooted deep enough, moves things louder than shouting ever could. Let this next chapter of your life be a gentle yet undeniable affirmation that yes, it was all worth it. And yes, the delivery was delayed, not denied. And yes, Libra, it's finally here. There are some patterns we inherit long before we can question them. Libra, much of what you've endured may not have started with you, but it has found a home within you until now. Sometimes, the struggles we face around money, stability, or self-worth don't come from our own decisions, but from silent agreements passed down through generations. These are what many energy practitioners refer to as poverty covenants, unspoken vows made by our ancestors, often in times of desperation, loss, or betrayal. Maybe it was a grandparent who learned not to trust money because it always came with pain. Or a great uncle who lost everything and swore never to take a financial risk again. Those beliefs, though born in survival, can subtly weave themselves into the energetic fabric of a bloodline. They influence how we earn, how we give, how we receive, and most dangerously, what we think we deserve. In the study of numerology and cosmic timing, these inherited cycles often move in repeating patterns, 8-year or 12-year loops of limitation that feel eerily familiar. Financial breakthroughs followed by sudden loss. Hopeful new beginnings that dissolve without warning. You may have even said, "Why does this always happen to me?" The answer, in part, is that you've been living under a code that was never yours, but it was embedded in your energetic blueprint before you even had the words to challenge it. And yet, Libra, you were not born to carry these chains. You were born to break them. What makes your role unique is that your soul carries the energy of justice, healing, and karmic rebalancing. You are the archetype of harmony, not because life hands it to you, but because you are here to create it. You're the bridge between what was and what will be. The one who says, "It ends with me." That sacred defiance is not rebellion. It's redemption. You were divinely placed to bring resolution to the financial trauma that's haunted your family tree, not just for your sake, but for all who came before and all who will come after. That is a holy task disguised as a personal struggle. And this work isn't about blame, it's about awareness. No one meant to curse the future. They were just trying to survive the past. But you're awakening now, the way you question these patterns, the way you choose differently even when it's hard. That's the light cracking through centuries of conditioned fear. That's what makes you the key, the turning point, the reset in your lineage. You are the living proof that generational contracts can be renegotiated, and energetic debts can be cleared. In the modern world, we tend to overlook how deep these roots go. But when you start noticing your reactions to abundance, feeling unworthy when good things happen, sabotaging success when it gets too big, undercharging your value, or avoiding financial decisions out of fear, those are not just personal flaws. They are echoes. And the moment you stop echoing them, you begin to release them. No divine force ever created you to be small. You were designed with the capacity to hold wealth, wellness, and wisdom in full harmony. That is your divine design, not a luxury reserved for others. And the truth is, freedom is not just about money, it's about knowing you're no longer bound by what others believed before you. You're not trapped in an outdated contract. You're being invited to write a new one. Let your actions from this moment forward reflect that truth. Allow yourself to receive without guilt. To invest without fear. To give from fullness, not scarcity. And when resistance arises, don't panic, pause. Breathe. Remember, you are not just healing yourself. You are healing the memory of an entire lineage. That's not pressure. That's purpose. And it belongs to you now. Not everything that glitters is meant for you, Libra. Just before the moment of arrival, when life is about to hand you the very thing your soul has patiently waited for, it often presents one final test. This isn't a punishment. It's a sacred pause. A quiet checkpoint to make sure you've truly embodied the version of yourself that can handle the weight of what's coming next. Sometimes the test is subtle, wrapped in the language of opportunity. It might show up as an offer that looks perfect on the outside, but deep down doesn't align with your values. You might feel pressure to say yes just because it promises fast results. But you'll know. Your body will tense. Your gut will tighten. And your heart will hesitate. That hesitation is sacred, honor it. Other times, the test is emotional. It's the return of someone from your past, someone who once drained your energy, but now reappears with kinder words and softer edges. But Libra, your growth wasn't just about becoming more loving. It was also about becoming more discerning. This is the moment where you are asked to choose protection over people-pleasing. You don't owe anyone access to your new life just because they knew the old you. You don't owe them an explanation, either. Silence can be your boundary. Distance can be your clarity. Your energy is your currency, now spend it wisely. Sometimes, the final test is disguised as a small choice. Do you still give with an open heart even when your resources are limited? Do you still act from faith rather than fear, even when the numbers on the screen don't yet reflect your vision? This is not a test of perfection, it's a test of trust. The universe is asking, can you walk like the person who already has it, even when you can't see it yet? To prepare for this, your greatest tool is not control its alignment. Focus on fortifying your mental and emotional health in simple, steady ways. Start your day with silence. Just 10 minutes of conscious breathing or stillness before the noise begins can help you stay connected to your inner compass. Sip a warm cup of herbal tea, something grounding like ashwagandha or tulsi, and let it anchor your nervous system. Add B vitamins to your morning routine to support your stress levels. Move your body gently for 15 minutes to clear stagnant energy. And if the day feels heavy, come back to your breath, your body, your boundaries. This is the daily devotion that keeps you aligned not just with abundance, but with peace. From a tarot perspective, this phase is best symbolized by the devil in reverse, strength, and justice. The devil reverse speaks to release, letting go of toxic attachments, manipulations, or tempting shortcuts that no longer hold power over you. Strength is your reminder that real courage isn't loud, it's quiet, intentional, and patient. And justice, of course, is your soul card, Libra. It is the confirmation that balance is being restored not only around you, but within you. You are now making choices that match your worth. You're no longer compromising just to survive. You are standing in full energetic agreement with what you truly deserve. And while these tests may seem small, they carry the weight of great turning points. The moment you choose from your new identity, the universe recognizes that you're ready not just to receive but to sustain. You are no longer operating from reaction. You're responding from alignment. That's what tells the universe, release the funds. Let the gates open. Libra is ready. What shifts first is never the bank balance, it's always the belief. Libra, by now you're beginning to feel the subtle yet powerful reprogramming taking place beneath the surface. You've passed the test, broken the old vows, and endured the audit with grace. But now comes the part most people don't talk about, adjusting your nervous system to accept what you've been asking for. Because when your energy changes, reality has no choice but to follow. Not out of magic, but out of energetic law. Frequency first. Form second. You're not simply becoming someone who has money, you're becoming someone who can hold it, direct it, lead with it. And that requires a completely new internal structure. This isn't about luxury or indulgence. This is about alignment. If you've always bought what was cheap out of guilt, fear, or survival, your cells are coated with, "I'm not worth more." But when you choose to upgrade just slightly, consciously sending a new message, "I am worthy of quality. I honor myself." So go ahead, replace those worn out socks. Buy the nicer tea. Choose the better pen. Not to impress anyone, but to affirm to yourself that you're no longer living from the vibration of lack. Your physical space is an extension of your energetic field. When you clean, organize, or rearrange it with intention, you are not just changing your environment, you're shifting your magnetic signature. Replace old items that have served their time. Refresh your wallet, because it's about to become the sacred vessel for receiving and circulating blessing. And when you do it with reverence, not as a task, but as a ritual. Each small choice tells your subconscious mind, we live differently now. Something incredibly powerful happens when you anchor this shift with words. Writing, especially in your own handwriting, carries a vibrational imprint. So take a moment each morning to journal a single sentence. I am someone who creates light with my money. Let this statement guide your decisions. Does this expense support my light? Does this investment serve my mission? When you begin to link money with meaning, money stops being a stressor and starts becoming a servant of purpose, of peace, of growth. I've seen stories like yours time and time again. A woman I once worked with prayed every morning for over a decade. She gave even when she had almost nothing left. The week she released her last $20 to help someone in need, she uploaded a video to YouTube sharing her story, not expecting anything in return. That video was seen by a stranger who offered her a contract worth 200 times what she had just given. Her harvest didn't come because of the action allanite, came because her energy had finally become a vibrational match for abundance. And so, abundance arrived. This is the heart of the shift, Libra. You're not receiving money to escape problems. You're receiving it to build. This is seed money for the empire that lives in your soul. A community, a business, a movement, a service, whatever form your light chooses to take, this wealth is its fuel. That's why it's arriving now, not sooner. Because now, you're ready not just to spend it. You're ready to lead with it. You're here to create new ecosystems, offer new solutions, and become the living example of what integrity-powered wealth looks like. And to support that, let the colors of your wardrobe or space this week reflect your rise. Royal blue, the color of sovereignty, wisdom, and divine authority. And pearl, symbol of inner purity and rare value formed through pressure over time. Just like you. You are not just here to enjoy prosperity. You are here to steward it. The world doesn't need another rich person. The world needs someone like you who knows how to lead with grace, give with intention, and create from the heart. This is your era of becoming. Step into it. When we reach this point together, Libra, it's not just the end of a video, it's the beginning of a new personal truth. You've been walking a long path in silence, often misunderstood, often overlooked. But that path wasn't aimless. It was shaping you into someone who could not only hold the light but lead with it. Everything you've felt, everything you've overcome, every moment you chose to act from integrity instead of desperation, that was not wasted. It was recorded. It was multiplied. And now, it's being returned to you, not as luck, but as law. Not because you begged for it, but because you grew into someone who could be it. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You don't need to justify your abundance, explain your success, or apologize for finally receiving. You are the recalibration point in your lineage. You are the one shifting the frequency for everyone who came before and everyone who will come after. That power? It's not in some far-off future version of you. It's already here. And your only job now is to accept it fully, not with fear, but with readiness. Not with guilt, but with joy. So I want you to pause, hand over heart, and ask yourself this gently but truthfully. What would shift today if I believed I was already living in the vibration of wealth, purpose, and divine fulfillment? How would I speak? Who would I allow into my energy? What choices would I make differently, not out of fear, but from a place of knowing that the universe has already said yes? Let those questions stay with you. Let them unravel the old stories and soften the edges of doubt. And if your spirit is whispering, yes, even just a quiet yes, then I invite you to anchor this moment by commenting below, I accept my new destiny. Let that be your public agreement with the path ahead. Let it be your signal to the universe that you're not just Hopinjiri claiming. You're not just healing, you're leading. And as you do, know this, you don't walk alone. Every soul who finds this message, who resonates with this energy, is part of a collective awakening. A family of quiet revolutionaries, guided not by noise, but by clarity. If this message touched your heart, helped you feel seen, or reminded you of who you truly are, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. It helps this energy reach those who need it most, and it helps us continue bringing soul-aligned guidance to this beautiful community we're building together. And if you feel called to share this message with a friend, do it with love, because you never know who's silently waiting for their own confirmation. There is no rescue coming, Libra, because you are the rescue. You are the fulfillment of every unanswered prayer you whispered late at night. You are the seed and the bloom. The question and the answer. And yes, the money that's on its way may change your circumstances, but you have already changed the game. This is your time now. To build, to rise, to receive, not just for yourself, but for something bigger. So take the first step, not because you're ready in every way, but because you're aligned in the ways that matter. Trust the version of you that made it here. Trust the unfolding. And remember, you're not just here to live a better life, you're here to build a new world. One choice at a time. One heartbeat at a time. One miracle at a time. Now go. Build what no one else dared to dream.